So in this segment, we're going to be giving an update to the Sima Kotecha story. So this is one I covered at the time, which was, it feels like so long ago now. I think it must have been a long while ago. And what had happened was she was about to interview some people in Leicester, and then some guy apparently came in spouting abuse and other things at her and at her guest, and they had to abandon recording. There's an update to the story which says that a man admitted harassing BBC reporter Sima Kotecha as she prepared to broadcast on live television. Russell Rawlingson from Leicester, and this guy has done a few other things as well. He's very, very bad, not very bad person. He was originally charged with causing racially aggravated harassment, alarm, and distress as Miss Kotecha believed his behaviour was racist and abusive. However, he pleaded to a lesser, non-racially aggravated version of the offence, and he's due to be sentenced on May the 11th. So once that happens, I'll update you guys. But really, bad human being. She was trying to record stuff and interview people, and he starts coming in apparently shouting racial abuse, etc. And I read the original story when it came out, and I was like, just why would you do that? I just don't get it. Especially since your face will be plastered on TV, but we didn't even get a picture of the guy. No details were given about what Rawlingson said to Kotecha when he pleaded guilty at Leicester Crown Court. The charge was put to him: you are charged with racially aggravated intentional harassment, alarm and distress, with the intent to cause harassment. So it was May 10th last year, so almost a year. With the intent to cause harassment, alarm or distress. You used threatening, abusive or insulting words or behaviour towards Sima Kotecha. When asked how he pleaded, Rawlingson said guilty but not too racial. So I don't know if he's done that because he wants to avoid a higher charge, or if he genuinely believes what he said wasn't racist. It's very unclear. That's a tweet from her at the time. The prosecution did not initially accept his plea to the lesser charge, which meant Rawlinson would have had to stand trial for the original offence, and Miss Kotecha would have had to give evidence in court. However, the prosecution said Kotecha did not wish for it to go to trial, and the plea to the lesser charge was therefore accepted. So evidently, she didn't want to go to trial for whatever reason. That's down to her, and you can't blame her for that. So that's pretty much case closed at that point. This charge was using threatening, abusive, or insulting or behaviour with intent to cause fear or provoke violence. So I don't think he'll go to jail for this. I think he'd probably get community service or something like that. But there is more. Rawlingson of Glenfield Road, Leicester, also entered guilty pleas of offences relating to two other cases. He admitting to having a bladed article that's used like a knife or extremely sharp object in a public place in June. He also pleaded guilty to assaulting an emergency worker and another charge of threatening, abusive or insulting words or behaviour with the intent to cause or provoke violence in October. So this guy went on a real spree last year, in May, harassing and using abusive words towards Sima Kotecha, having a bladed article in June, and then assaulting an emergency worker in October. Like, surely he would have been arrested in June. Like, he should have been put in pen in June, held in custody in June for what he did. It's very strange that didn't happen, considering he had a bladed article. But clearly this man's not a good human being, considering he keeps doing stuff like this. Miss Kotecha, who had been due to interview people at Leicester's Clock Tower following a government statement on lockdown restrictions, but the segment was cancelled. BBC spokesman said it's completely unacceptable that our journalists should suffer abuse for doing their jobs. The BBC stands by our brave and talented correspondent Sima Kotecha, her colleagues and her guests. This case, pretty much case closed at this point, apart from we need to wait for the sentencing. But I thought it'd be worth giving everyone an update to this story since, I did cover it originally, and I thought it's worth giving an update on. So what do we know? He was charged for a lesser charge. So he pleaded guilty, but not to the racial bit. He admitted to harassment, alarm, or causing distress, but he did not plead guilty to the racist bit, which again is strange. But he's also looking at charges for having a bladed article and assaulting a key worker. Let's just make sure we got that right. Yes, he pleaded guilty to assaulting an emergency worker. So, or also he used threatening and abusive or insulting words or behaviour with the intent to provoke to cause fear or provoke violence in October. So it's unclear that if the two were related. So if he did the same thing, so say he was abusive towards the emergency worker and then assaulted them, or if it was two separate things. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up there. I'm glad that at least she's gotten some justice for what happened to her, but no doubt the sentence for what this person did to her would be pretty lenient, given the way the judicial system works in this country. But I'm gonna leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.